Hey everyone, Tom here, America's Pattern Trader. Have I got a pattern for you today? So earlier today, Apple wrapped up its big annual fall event. I did something I typically never do. I watched the entire thing. Today, I want to cover the highlights from the iPhone 17 to the next generation of AirPods and Apple Watch. But most importantly, I want to take a look at an invisible pattern on this stock, one that I'll be taking advantage of real soon. Let's jump in. All right, let's start with the event itself. But first, is it me or do you also miss those live events that Steve Jobs used to do? You know, unscripted, uncanned, walks across the stage. He's out there by himself, nobody else behind him. I thought those were great. So back to today's event. So Apple called it the awe-dropping event for good reason. The star of the show was definitely the new iPhone 17 Air. This is the thinnest iPhone ever. It's just 5.6 millimeters thick. I got to say, when I first saw it, I thought, oh, that's going to bend in somebody's pocket immediately. But it's made with what they call spacecraft titanium. Very strong, 6.3-inch display. Their starting price on this is $999. It's sleek, it's powerful, it's definitely aimed for premium buyers. Alongside that, they also revealed a standard iPhone at $799, an iPhone Pro at $1,099, and the Pro Max, that's the big one. You can hang a chain on it. It looks like a small clutch, $1,199. Now, all the models, they're getting faster chips, upgraded cameras, and better battery life. Now let's move on to something that I really like, and that's AirPods. Their new AirPods 3 come with features like active noise cancellation. They say it's the best in the world. Foam-infused ear tips for a better fit, heart rate tracking, and what I think is going to be a game changer is live language translation. Imagine listening to a foreign language and then a simple tap on your AirPods, and it translates it live into the language of your choice. That's pretty wild. And the fact that they're still pricing it at the same price they always have, $249, I think that's amazing. They start shipping these September 19th. Wearables, Apple Watch SE 3. They've also got the Series 11. They've got the Ultra 3. They all have faster charging, and they have the always-on display. But you know what I didn't hear about? I didn't hear about AI. I didn't hear about a foldable iPhone. Which brings me to the stock price. So as of the close today, Apple is trading down about 1.6% for the day. It's a bit of a dip, what traders often refer to as sell the news reaction. Basically, traders buy the rumor and they sell the news once it becomes official. This seems to be a pattern with Apple, but I got a better pattern for you in just a few minutes. To give you some context on the stock, it's been under pressure for some time this year. It's down about 6% year to date. It makes it a laggard when you group it with the other big tech names. Now, some of that comes down to concerns about innovation. Investors want to see more aggressive moves into AI. Today's event really didn't deliver anything on AI, but keep in mind, short-term reactions don't always tell the full story. So, how could this event still be a win for Apple stock? Let me break it down. First, you got product design. That Apple iPhone 17, ultra-thin titanium is eye-catching. I think that's the tip of the iceberg when we go forward with their new tech. Health and wearables, heart rate sensing, real-time translation. Apple's really leaning hard into health and fitness, and I think it's going to give them an edge against their competitors. Also, you got to look at their ecosystem. Every new device that Apple comes out with strengthens their entire core ecosystem. So, you know, moving into cloud, fitness, Apple Music, all of this, it just helps these products. And also recurring revenue. That's gold for Apple's bottom line. Now, long-term strategy. They recently committed $500 billion towards U.S. manufacturing, AI, and R&D. Huge. It sends a signal that Apple's not thinking about the quarter, they're thinking about the next decade. So, for instance, here's what a lot of people didn't hear. That silicone chipset they have going into the new iPhones now, that and connectivity from 5G across wireless puts them further and further away from outside manufacturers like TSM, Taiwan Semi, and Broadcom, which means more control. And guess what else? more profit margins. So even if today's event wasn't revolutionary, it shows that Apple's playing the long game. That's great for the long-term investor. But what about the short-term pattern trader in all of us? Well, let's talk about that. So first, where does Apple stock go from here? Most analysts are still rating it a buy. They've got 12-month price targets from 250 to 300. Pre-orders on all of this begin today. Products start shipping by September 19th, but we don't get a good read on sales until we hit October. Here's the pattern. Starting October 2nd, Apple stock is slated to go on a 50-day price hike, and in 9 of the last 10 years, Apple stock has risen during this time frame by an average of 7%. That's 7% in 50 trading days. That takes us right into the holiday season. So how do I know all this? Because I have decades of data that shows me that Apple stock price makes this exact same move around this exact same time frame in 9 of the last 10 years. And while 2018, the pattern didn't work out so well, it wasn't just Apple. Most of the US stock market fell during that time frame as well. So that being said, no investment is without risk, but Apple's ecosystem still remains one of the strongest in tech. And despite today's stock price, if you want to reduce your cost and risk, consider options in place of the stock. You'll want to focus on the right strike price and the right expiration date based on your projections. And if you're a pattern trader, you know exactly what to do. But if you want a pattern trader on your side, check out my links below, including my newsletter called Patterns and Profits. Okay, so that wraps up the breakdown of Apple's September event and my October surprise. What'd you think of the announcements? Will you be purchasing an Apple product anytime this year? Drop your thought in the comments. And if you found the video helpful, like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.